First, the elephant in the room. Don't walk into doors. This video might be quite hard to understand for some people who are real beginners at audio, but this is to do with getting rid of noise in recordings. So if you're not into post-audio production, this might not be the video for you. The first most obvious source of noise are leads. If you buy a cheap lead, it'll work, but it might not reject electrical sounds around your house. For instance, computers, the internet box, you know, the thing that gets the internet from outside somewhere. Those kinds of things can be picked up on wiring. A second source of noise is the noise that actually comes from the microphone itself. There's not one microphone that is dead quiet. They all make noise of some sort, and if it's not the microphone, then it's going to be the preamp or the recorder or something else making the noise. The third source of noise is ambience, the noise around you. For instance, at the moment, I'm sitting in this little room and the ambience is pretty quiet, although behind me, I'm very well aware that I've got a ticking clock that I forgot to take out. That's called ambient noise. So first of all, to deal with microphone noise and the stuff that you get from the electrical equipment itself, you can do a few things to try and help that. So I've drawn some pictures for you. This here is a graph that represents a signal, a red signal and a blue signal. So that's you speaking in effect. This purple line, although it's probably come out black on the camera, is the hiss of the microphone and the equipment. And this is the noise of surrounding. Now I've left a little blank spot there on purpose because you can use that later in post. Getting rid of this is a little bit more difficult. Now the thing is, the level that you record at is greatly going to affect how much of this you hear. And the important thing is not the volume but the distance between the signal and the background noise. That's the most important thing. So if you record at a low volume level, okay, you might not get preamp hiss and all that going on, but that is now in effect the signal to noise ratio. The signal to noise ratio doesn't change if you turn the volume up. When you turn it up, all that happens is this. So the noise is now there and the signal's there. The signal to noise ratio, which is the gap, doesn't change. But if you make the gap big, there's the bottom, there's a louder signal. If you make the distance between your speech and the background higher, bigger, what happens is when you raise it again, signal to noise doesn't change, but now the noise is there and the signal is there. So how to get that louder? Make sure that the microphone is reasonably close to you. The proximity of the microphone to you is going to affect how the background is picked up. The other thing, of course, is that these things, microphones, have a polar pattern. Generally, you will see most microphones are cardioid. As long as you're pointing the mic at someone and the noise is coming from behind you, you're all right. But if the noise is behind the person that's speaking, you're picking up not only the person, but the noise behind them. So the signal to noise ratio isn't as good because the distance in volume between the speaker and the background isn't so great. If that happens, the only option you have is to turn your mic around and put the guy or person on the other side facing away from the noise level. The background might not be good, so then you're going to have to change the camera angle. Instead of doing this, lift it or put it down here and get rid of the background if it doesn't look so good. I would say the most important thing that influences signal to noise is getting that microphone close. The closer you can get it, basically, the better the signal to noise, and it'll reject noise around you as well. If you combine that with the polar pattern of the microphone, it's deadly. Okay, so now you've made your recording and you get it home and you put it on the computer and you hear noise. There are two types of noise that you can hear, either the microphone noise itself, hissing away, that'll be constant, and the background noise, and they both really need to be treated separately and differently. If you reduce hiss, it doesn't have too much impact on the sound of the speech, but if you reduce ambient noise like traffic or something, it really hits the speech badly and it makes it virtually unlistenable. So that's not so easily repaired. Let's have a look. First of all, I've drawn another picture, of course, which is quite funny. This is the ground, the noise floor here, flat. This is someone speaking, and this is the gap between speech. This is someone speaking, and that's the end at the end. So the speech is there, and the noise floor is there. So what I would do is, first of all, I might use a little bit of noise reduction to get that lower if I need it. If I hear hiss during the speech, then I would take it down. If I don't hear hiss, but it is there, but I don't hear it when someone speaks, I leave it alone. Only use hiss, don't use ambient noise. What I do is I would take a sample from there, somewhere there, and then get rid of the hiss. And I only reduce it by as much as I need, 3 or 6 dB, sometimes 12 dB. Only that much, because if you do too much, it will impact on your speech. Once I've done that, then I will fade in at the start of something and fade out at the end. Don't forget this has been noise reduced. So once it's been noise reduced, if it has been, then I measure one of the silent passages and work out where the low point is. Once I've found the low point, I get a noise gate and I set it to just above that low point. But I don't send it down to infinity. Again, I'm very gentle with it. I take it down -6 or -12 dB if I can get away with it. It shuts the audio off as soon as you stop speaking. So for instance, I'm going to stop speaking. I'm just going to put a noise gate in on this section. So I'm going to stop speaking now. And now I started speaking, so the noise gate's allowing the sound through. When I stopped speaking, the noise gate came in and it cut out any hiss or noise that's in the background. I sent it down to infinity so you could hear it more clearly. But I wouldn't do that. I would send it down by -6 dB or 12 dB. Just be gentle with your noise gate. Be gentle with your noise reduction. One last trick that I do, which if you've got the time is great and it works fantastically well, is to overlap the audio tracks of each clip. If you overlap and one is fading out and one's fading in, you don't notice the difference between tracks. So if the noise level is higher on one track than another, it's very gradual if you do this. It's not so noticeable. And again, that takes the attention away from that noise. So I'm not talking about totally removing noise. I'm just trying to take noise down to a level where people don't notice it quite as much. In desperation once, I learned a trick from Alan of Sound Speeds, which is absolutely wonderful. I was doing a recording for some of our customers here to do with our company called Sing Rainbows, and I was making a video for the kids in the garden, telling a story. I had traffic, incessant traffic, planes and people soaring, things going off. It was just like a nightmare. And everything I recorded had noise. And in the end, I thought, oh, blow it. I'm just going to record it with the noise. So I did. So I had a very, very noisy recording, even in spite of using a lav right close to me. So I took the recording home. There's the recording. I copied the recording below. Then I turned this one off. And with this one, I heavily reduced the noise. What I did, I went onto my noise reduction, took the traffic and everything and massively took it out. That meant that the speech was terrible on this one, but there was still the bare bones of the speech. So the bare bones of the speech all mangled up and sounding nasty was on this one. And then gradually on the other track above, I just raised the volume of the track above until the voice became clear. And once that voice became clear, I left it there and actually it reduced the traffic noise. So don't worry, just like these things, they're just with us and you have to put up with them, and noise is one of those things. And if you get noise in the future, I hope this has helped you to try and sort out what's going on. Hope to see you next time. Cheers for now.